Trents might be thinking here in terms of the draft and bans.
Absolutely, makes sense. Might as well go again. Hey, as we saw yesterday from Willowkeeper, it's hard for them to go away from that dual support. As we even saw them use a bubble secondary support yesterday, and just really making a point that they just don't play jungle. So, Fusin going to get his hands on Glacius here. We even saw him first. He loves that as a support, a main support option. So, no surprise to see that here. And the overall very strong lineup definitely on their side too. So, Pyromancer, as we also talked about yesterday, becoming more and more of a prevalent support once again on the competitive scene. It seems like as that R button of his, that burst potential that he brings to the table for being a main support even is just too good to pass up. So the bans coming along now. Alonia into Dr. Pulsar. Now we did see, speaking of yesterday once again, a lot of referring to that. Alonia was picked up by Willowkeeper. Balthazar does overall have pretty good history with the hero, but yesterday's matchup against Sync, they kind of hit that wall, and eventually Sync was able to pull through, but still dangerous to deal with. And if you have more of an earlier game team yourself, then it could be extra dangerous going up against an Alonia. So, yeah, they make sure to take care of that. Riftwalker into one of those niche heroes. Rudisy, of course, known for his Riftwalker play, so banning that heavy. Doctor and Gemini so far coming out from Fusin here as far as his ban. So addressing the Beaver Banger, safe to say.
Yeah, I haven't really seen Beaver Banger, not to sort of flame in that respect, but I haven't really seen him play much heroes outside of Oogie and Gemini. Obviously, he's a great carry player, can play any kind of carry sort of hero, but in terms of normal other hero picks, I don't really see him pick up sort of Silhouette. And yesterday you were saying how we don't really see a lot of Silhouette because he does have that high skill cap, and I don't know if Beaver Bang is sort of familiar with Silhouette, but personally, he's such a strong hero. I really do like the hero as well myself, and I mean, if I can play a breakout, I think anyone can, simply. But
that's true.
I do know what you mean, though.
That is true. Puppet Master and Keeper the Forest, actually, to finish things off there. Yeah, Nullstone Gaming, not afraid to run that Keeper as well. So, going to take that option away here as far as a possible suicide potential. And now the next tier of picks going to be happening as a result. So, yeah, when it comes to carry options, I do agree with you. Beaver Banger does seem more of flat choices there, as different as they are. Yeah, we don't see him playing a whole lot of the more usual ones, but as you always do, really, it's got a lot of options on the board. So we'll see what that comes to here. Trent's gonna put some thought into this one, as you pointed out. Silhouette definitely there in a lot of cases could be.
I'd like some. Sorry to interrupt you, but I'd like to see some kind of strong physical presence. Most carries obviously will be that strong physical presence, but they've picked up Parasite, Pyromancer, and Magnus, and something that is a little bit of a criticism actually to Tree is that they are normally quite heavy magical in that respect, but they've themselves picked up Madman and Kraken, so they do have that sort of balance in terms of what type of damage is coming out. Because if they're all sort of magical, then they pick up the Shrink Nades, they pick up the vestments, but Blood Hammer. Ooh, man, I do like this pickup, actually. A really, really strong hero. And it's actually a good counter to Madman as well. And obviously, it will stop him using the Stalk. And that's obviously one of his biggest in sort of mobility and sort of escape mechanism. Most likely going to see a suicide Madman, perhaps. But I guess we'll have to see.
Is that stat actually true? I know you mess up sometimes, but has he really been 7 games and hasn't won a single game? Wow. 0-7 Blood Hunter being picked up here by Nullstone Gaming. Yeah, I'm very shocked by that because, he definitely, you stress, when the Doctor pulls, you've seen him all the time, why maybe Blood Hunter's not picked up as often. Obviously, that silence so powerful. The strongest silence in the game, lasting for a total of 9 seconds on level 4.
So ridiculous.
It really is ridiculous.
Oh,
and here we go. Willowkeeper
Blacksmith
showing us the RNG. Going to be rolling them dices. Blacksmith coming out here for good old Willowkeeper. You're pointing out, though, against Madman, I agree, but at the same time, you got to be a little careful because it does increase their damage. And Madman's kind of a scary hero to silence in that sense, to increase his damage. If you use it maybe at an inappropriate time, then all of a sudden he's dishing out even more damage with that Berserk up. So it could be a little scary to use, but I get that.
This Blacksmith, man.
But yeah, so the last time they picked up Blacksmith, apparently they picked up Flint Beastwood with it. So
come on,
I'm just saying.
Frenzy plus Blacksmith, man. Frenzy plus Flint Beastwood.
Yeah,
insane, man.
Well,
50 attack speed plus and 50 movement speed. Oh my god.
Frenzy is such a strong. This is what I've always said. Every now and then it'll come up about heroes that we never really see, and I'm kind of troll. It's ultimately a troll to an extent, but Frenzy, I think, is a very underrated ability at the same time. I mean, look at what it does. It's not only the attack speed, it's not only the movement speed, but it's even cast speed on top of it. It's not a whole lot, sure, but it adds up. I mean, but yeah, the attack speed's big. I mean, you got a hero like Flint Beastwood sitting in the background. Yeah,
helps the money shot
that's
as well.
true.
Obviously, increased cast speed, but yeah, man. Please pick up Flint Beastwood, please.
Yeah.
Please. I mean, the hero can work very, very well actually in terms of this game. Obviously, they do have the Parasite and Magmas to actually sort of chase him down, but I mean, the one thing that not a lot of people really think about, simply because we don't really see it a lot in terms of Flint Beastwood or other sort of hard carries that sort of sit in the back, is that you have to kind of have your tanky frontliners to really sort of stop any aggression onto sort of the long range carry. They've got the Kraken here, they've got the Blacksmith. Even Madman can, somewhat have a durable presence. Oh, they pick up Soul Stealer. That's still fun. We've seen the Blacksmith, but I really think Flint could have been a good game here. I mean, at the same time, obviously they did have the Bubbles, Parasite, and Magmas to easily get through the frontliners with their portal keys, for example, and obviously Bloodhunter, somewhat of a good anti-carry hero because you can just pop up the hemorrhage, and then Flint's got to be stuck there, and it obviously relies on Tree to have that good team support to sort of help him out. But Soul Stealer, somewhat of I wouldn't say a similar hero to Flint Beastwood, but still has that range carry aspect. Can obviously dish out a lot of damage, obviously with his demon hands as well.
Yeah.
So. Not Flint Beastwood, but still decent.
I get it at the same time because, yeah, if they would have Flint here, they would have had two very potentially, hard carry heroes in both him and Madman. And Soul Stealer more of the early to mid-game carry especially. When it comes to late game, sure, can definitely still have a presence, but maybe not as much as a Flint Beast would say. So, wants to make sure to have that transition where, in this case, Madman will eventually take over if it comes to that, not worrying about, spreading farm out too much. In the end. But, yeah, God, I love seeing the Blacksmith. And I think Willowkeeper is the only team, because of how much they stress they don't play jungle and they always play secondary support, and the way they do it with the creep pulling, they're like the only team on the scene right now that can potentially run a Blacksmith, as they're doing here.
True.
Because he benefits from that as any secondary support would.
I mean, you always have to run them as a secondary support. I remember BMG right back in the day when they were sort of on top beating Stay Green. They were actually running Super KG on the Blacksmith, trying to run him as a mid-initiator, and it just didn't have the same appeal, didn't have the same real feel to it. Whereas Blacksmith, it can work. And one thing I was going to mention as well, the reason why they might have picked up the Soul Stealer here instead of the Flint Beastwood is that, I mean, in the last couple of games we've seen from Tree is that they really do like to rotate their carry hero into the jungle at level 6, level 7. And what better hero than Soul Stealer himself? Flint Beastwood, he can farm the jungle, but not as effectively as Soul Stealer. So in this matchup, expect maybe Soul Stealer to get level 7, level 8, get himself some mana regeneration items, perhaps the Perseverance, and then from there, obviously looking to go into the jungle, and then free up the lane for Blacksmith, because he himself does need some farm as well. Pick up the mana ring, pick up maybe the boots, even the portal key perhaps, and then from there go. Even maybe breaking the Staff of the Master.
Yeah, I mean, the Staff is probably a little bit of a reach there, but it's the possibility if it gets really late. I mean, it's not out of the question. So we'll see if it gets to that state here. But, yeah, I do like the fact, again, especially what we have with Game 1 there, unfortunately, the issues and whatnot. But here we are, Game 2, and, hey, it's almost like I forgot about what happened in Game 1 because we got good old Blacksmith here. We got good old Blacksmith and everything. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing, again, how that works out and plays out for them. Yeah, I mean, he's a hard-hitting hero as well, so when it comes to last hits early on, too, and, he's definitely going to be easily able to get that, I'm sure. Obviously with the Flaming Hammer on top of it all, too, that's good assistance for helping Soul Stealer, perhaps even amping his damage up a little bit with those Demon Hands, maybe assisting in some farm there to already help what is a very powerful farming hero in the Soul Stealer. So, yeah, it's sure there is RNG involved, and that's, RNG, especially in a competitive mindset, is always a little scary. I mean, there's always going to be some, of course, but it's extra heavy on a Blacksmith, no doubt. But that's the thing. It's not like you don't need 4-time multicasts all the time to really make them work out. I mean, even if it's a double, even if it's just a single, the stun alone at 1.5 seconds, right? Yeah, 1.5 seconds. That could set up kills easily. And again, we keep going back to the Frenzy buff. I mean, that's always pretty guaranteed. If a multicast is just kind of cool, but at least using it on the single target that you apply it to is very beneficial in itself. So, yeah, again, he's not the Wombo Combo. He's not the Rift Walker, the Behemoth, the Magnus, or anything like that. So that's another downside, sure. But
and I mean, One small issue I've got with the Blacksmith, though, is that there's one aspect of his play that can't really be utilised, particularly in this sort of meta game, is really the early rotations. Obviously, we talked about smoke and sort of the mushroom in the last game, but it's going to be really hard for him and even perhaps the other support as well with Glacius to rotate, maybe mid, maybe bottom perhaps, and to get those early kills. Because Blacksmith is actually a very good early roamer because he has that high HP, he can get involved in those early right clicks, for example, and the stun or the flaming hand, depending on what he decides to go, is a good level 1 or level 2 sort of roaming ability. And I don't think early roams can really work because as long as Nullstone Gaming have their set wards up, they're not really going to be able to take use of these early roams and ganks because they're going to get spotted out. But nonetheless, still is a very good hero into the mid and late game because of the skill set he offers to Solstier as well as the rest of his team as well.
Yeah. So now, going back to this Blood Hunter pickup, too, and again, that's another reason why, Soul Stealer pickup. Now, eventually, getting the Shrunken Head and even a Geometer Span will be good. So, at the same time, I was going to say the sounds could be extra powerful against a Soul Stealer, but getting especially both those items, if not one or the other, sooner than later, then it'll really help against that silence that, of course, comes out from Blood Hunter. So, I mean, that's where I really don't know how I ultimately feel about this Blood Hunter pickup now. The more I'm really thinking about it, it's a good pickup. He said they needed that physical presence, and I guess definitely brings that to the table. At least has potential, but not as much as others would definitely.
True.
So.
That is true. But I mean, what other hero can be involved in ganks as early as Blood Hunter? Like he hits level 6, he hits level 6, and the ganks start happening left, right, and center.
True.
I mean, the hero is so strong in terms of ganks because. And I mean, if you think about who he's sort of paired with as well, like Parasite, Bubbles, like Magnus, these are incredibly early aggressive and ganking heroes, and obviously putting like a carry hero on top of the ganking presence, like it is very, very scary for Tree here, unless they are very, very keen on sort of having the support back once they're getting ganked, or and be careful of their positioning. They will get picked off time and time again because of just what the draft is here from Tree. From Nullstone Gaming. Obviously, Nullstone, they don't have the greatest team fight compared to Tree. Obviously, they're going against Kraken and Solstice. They're two great team fight heroes, and obviously they've got the Madman and Sorcerer as well, so they've got that late game presence over Nullstone Gaming. But something that can't be underestimated is this ganking potential. Like, we'll see some early rotations, early aggression from Nullstone Gaming, because that's the strategy they have to win. That's the strategy they have to play if they want to win this game right.
At the same time, though, expect that from Tree. I mean, hell, we saw last game with the Glacius Magnus, and again, as they do, especially with that dual support strategy, you would expect a lot of roaming sooner than later. So really, Nullstone also themselves will need to be a little bit careful about that coming out. And again, Blacksmith, another kind of cool thing about him, he's not necessarily very reliant on that level 6, like I keep going back to. I mean, his hard hitting alone, the stun set up with the slow and the amp damage from that, he can actually assist with the gank very, very effectively with, say, the Glacius especially roaming around with him. So definitely looking out for that is very possible here. To be coming. So we'll see how that all plays out. But speaking of how the laning phase is looking now, we got, of course, Bubbles up here at the top lane, and that's Suicide. Going to be going up against short lane Soul Stealer now. Blacksmith and Glacius are going to be up here as well. Expect that pull, though, to happen. Middle lane matchup, what's going to be? Kraken versus the Magnus here. So Cholo Samiani is back, playing this Magnus here, and going up against Kraken the Kraken. That's always a fun combo there. Coming out. Bottom lane, it'll be Madman versus the Blood Hunter, of course, with the Parasite in his own jungle. So, yeah, Parmats actually is going to be playing middle here. Interesting to go up against the Kraken.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's actually going to have quite a hard time trying to box out this Kraken, because missed the stun as well, actually. Not going to really help. But, yeah, I mean, he isn't the greatest harassing and sort of boxing out support, particularly as he's in the middle lane. Like, I think Kraken will actually have quite a lot in this lane. I mean, Kraken, a great 1v2 hero. Normally he's used in the Suicide lane, but I think he will get quite a lot in this actual middle lane. Obviously, middle lane a lot better in terms of going sort of 1v2 than obviously in the long lane. And, yeah, I mean, and Magnus and Paramount aren't the best in terms of sort of securing the early kill, because, I mean, they don't do enough damage compared to, Kraken's HP. I mean, Paramount is harassing quite a lot, but you expect that to go down once the Paramount start losing his mana. He doesn't have any mana pots either, just has a couple of health regeneration items.
Yeah. Now, the bottom lane, I will say Blood Hunter, of course, can definitely fare zone against a Madman here. And,
oh, man.
Blood Hunter arguably the strongest solo hero in the game.
So strong. So strong.
I think,
he should not lose that matchup.
I think he's good, yeah, especially against another melee here.
He like normally when you play Blood Hunter, you need to be incredibly aggressive in terms of your ult attacks onto the hero because you're obviously going to get your health back from the feast. So I'd like to see him start trying to take down the regen from Box. I mean, Boxy has a lot of regen, but I mean, as a Blood Hunter, you can easily burn that just in terms of right clicks. I mean, you don't need a lot of regen from yourself because obviously you've got the feast, but he needs to be aggressive on Boxy to really have a presence in this sort of lane. If he allows Boxy to just try and right
middle lane actually. Maybe a bloodlust kill, Kraken. No, so now he turns away, he's going to be fine. Good attempt though, yeah, just a little too tanky.
Too tanky. But yeah, in terms of the bottom matchup, though, like, I mean, Beaverbanger has to go aggressive because, I mean, Madman will actually most likely beat him in terms of sort of a last hit wall because he has that stalk, because he has that barrel roll. But one thing he won't win is obviously the harassment battle. Like, Bloodhunter can easily win that in terms of that because of the feast, and he's picked up boots as well. So already I like the item choice here from Beaverbanger. It's just when Boxy comes on the lane, just try and be as aggressive as possible because you have the regen to allow for that because of the feast. So
now, very interesting here. I don't know if they usually do this. I don't think they do, but they're stacking up several of the camps here in their own jungle here on the Hellborn side, getting a couple triple stacks going, and then they're going to do a creep pull, it looks like. I think Blacksmith may be looking to even pull this next creep wave here. No, he's not going to do that one.
I think it's because they're going to stack for Soul Stealer. When he gets level 5, level 7, then rotate him into the jungle and give Blacksmith a lane to farm, which is what I stated before. And obviously they need to stack it, not because obviously increased golden experience, but because obviously Soul Stealer, it doesn't matter how many mobs are in the creep camp, going to clear him with like demon hands himself.
As long as they're not wild hunters.
Yeah, obviously. So.
As long as it's not those guys. But yeah, no, that's totally blanked on that. I apologize. So, yeah, but it makes sense there. And then, again, they did this quite a couple times yesterday as well. Kraken in the meantime. There's the Bloodlust kill. No Stone Gaming setting it up. Speaking of Wild Hunters, that's exactly what Parasite had right there. And, of course, very effective for setting up those invisible ganks. And sure enough, the kill happened. So, well played. And that's the aggressive play of No Stone Gaming starting to kind of kick in already early on in the stage. So that's where, I mean, I know that exactly Trees does this, and this is the strategy, and eventually going to transition. But that's where I'm a little bit concerned, honestly, because I was almost hoping for their sake that they would be able to compete with the aggressive play early on with this Blacksmith Glacius. But with the way this is going, I mean, they're going to be way behind early on here. They're really putting a lot into the Soul Stealer, getting some fantastic farm, and eventually being a huge threat. But that could be a little risky, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he is rotating to the jungle now, actually. Like, I thought it was going to be level 7 because then he'd have the max level of Demon Hands, but I mean, he does seem to be able to farm this sort of stack quite easily. Obviously, it's going to allow Blacksmith to take over the lane now as well, and
Bubbles normally is still level 1.
Yeah, no, it's pretty funny. I mean, this just goes back to a tride lane, though. Obviously, you can block down the suicide. We saw that in sort of the Zinc matchup as well. I think Casey was like level 1, level 2 for like 4 or 5 minutes. But yeah, just going back to tree, like obviously they don't run a jungler, but I mean, it's almost like they play their carry as their jungler in that respect, and it allows the secondary support to be played and get some farm on the levels, which he wouldn't get outside of this happening. And obviously he's not going to get his farm in terms of early golden experience through ganks because, like I said before, in Hon really it's quite hard to get those early roams off because of obviously there's no smoke, for example. And so this is the only really way they can run these weird secondary supports and get farm on them. I think it's a good strategy. Obviously Solstice is farming fine actually, 420 GPM, a perfect hero to farm these stacks, and I mean he'd be farming faster in the jungle than he would in the lane anyway. So just overall great strategy from Tree, and it does seem to be working. Obviously we talked about the one thing they do need to be wary of is obviously the early roam from Nullstone Gaming, which they have already sort of succeeded in the middle lane.
See again, top lane, Bubbles, he actually manages to hit level 2, but as soon as he does, whatever, Glacius back in there and putting on the pressure. But yeah, so this aggressive play of Nullstone Gaming, you got a level 6 Blood Hunter now. We already talked about the Parasite, yeah, setting up that Bloodlust kill. Gonna definitely look to get him more involved once again. Speaking of that, Madman actually coming middle right here, and possibly looking to get a kill themselves. Now, Invis Pyromancer, he's going to find this Glacius. He has a 2-level advantage, and he also has Bubbles kind of nearby, so I would not be surprised if they look to open on a Glacius right. Oh, Parasite's going it's all the Invis, man. It's like Glacius like, wait, where the hell did that all just come from? The smoke inks apparently are real. Kraken now, can he get away? Probably. As Madman now charges in. All of a sudden, Magnus is low on life. His team bath ain't going to happen, though. He was in tower range, so it did not destroy it or anything. Madman, in the meantime, he's now chasing. Not going to be able to get any more kills, possibly. Bubbles, he has a shell serve takeover, though. So
I mean, that engagement was definitely not worth it. They swapped like a level 2 support Glacius for a core mid Magmus. Like, they just dove a little bit too heavy. Obviously, like they try to go for more than just one kill, which is understandable. But they're diving the tier 1 tower. Obviously, Boxy was off the lane as well. Something that Beaverbanger would definitely have to be calling, and it's just a little bit of a overextension from Nullstone Gaming. And because of this, actually, I mean, Tree are ahead by about 1,000 experience. So, I mean, now as a result, they've got to work even harder to close that sort of golden experience lead back.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, exactly. It's the Samian, biting off a little bit too much right there, and they can definitely chew. Will they actually go for a gank again? I mean, he has a haster, and so a little more freedom there to try to make the dive happen, but Glacius falls back before any attempt comes out. So you are seeing the Soul Stealer farm, man. I mean, again, a lot of that because of the stacks that they did, and great transition coming out here by Willowkeeper. He's sitting about 400 gold per minute or so. Blacksmith, with that said, he actually doesn't even have boots yet or anything. He's actually sitting on 1,300 gold though himself. Middle lane in the meantime, we got Initiation Kraken. He has an ultimate, but he can't really get in range, and he's taking some good damage himself. And now Magnus might go back in. Yeah, I mean, Kraken needs to be careful with that. Ultimately does fall back and is fine. So yeah, they try to commit for a kill themselves with Madman roaming, but unsuccessful. And instead, Madman will have to head back bottom. Obviously, Bloodhunter has had a lot of free farm here to work with. We already mentioned in a 1v1, he's going to be fine anyways. But you really just put no pressure against him. Then he'll just get every single last hit. As it seems like Beaverbanger's definitely close to at least. I mean, 53 and 21 now here in the bottom lane, doing pretty damn good here.
Yeah, I mean, he is level 7 as well, so I would actually like to see him start maybe rotating to try and make some kills. Honestly, the top lane would probably be the easiest kill. Obviously, you have to assume that Soul Stealer is farming the jungle. Obviously, it's a little bit risky if you want to go for the top lane. Obviously, if he's right next to this hard camp to the lane, then it might be a little bit awkward. But I think it's a risk that Nullstone should take. There's no need, honestly, for like Bloodhunter to sort of AFK farm this lane. There's no one in the lane that he can sort of shut down because Box is most likely roaming because he knows he will lose against the Bloodhunter 1v1. And obviously, he's picked up. I mean, he's level. He's past level 6, and I mean, having the hemorrhage off cooldown and not using it, honestly, is a little bit of a misplay. Like, he's not one of these hard carries like Moon Queen or sort of Mage Bane. No, I mean, Madman knows that he's going to pick up a TP just in case, but he's going to TP out as well. Like, you want to see him to use it because if he was like a hard carry like Moon Queen or Mage Bane, then you can understand it. Actually, mid lane though.
Yeah, Eruption. No, he couldn't get it off in time. If the Eruption went off, Kraken could have possibly been dead as well. But it did not. They get the kill onto him, and now Pyromancer is going to escape with his life. But great job right there. That charge just in time coming out. And, I mean, that must have meant that they didn't stagger the stuns the best. Because, if the Dragonfire staggered on top of the Lava Surge, Lava Surge first followed by Dragonfire, then he technically should have gotten it off. So not the best execution there from Nullstone, and it backfired.
No, it's definitely true. And this is why I want Bloodhunter to be involved. Like, he could have easily TP'd into that engagement and be involved. Instead, it's like Tree getting... actually, Kraken is going to fall for the second or the first time here. But yeah, I'd just like to see him get involved. Like, he's not going to be a hard carry, so he doesn't need to sort of AFK farm like Moon Queen or Mage, but he's like a carry hero that can get involved early. And if you're not getting involved early, then you're not fully utilising the hero. So I would like to see him get some ganks off. Maybe he's going to wait till level 11, but even then, it could be a little bit too late. Obviously, they are behind. They need to get ahead in terms of golden experience through their kills because they don't have the late game, they don't have the team fight. They've got to play to their strengths, Breaky, and at the moment they're just not.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you. I mean, now this is also kind of a weakness of Bloodhunter too. You see him right here; he's taking a stack here in the jungle. He is not a good AOE farmer. There's 100% certainty in that. Obviously with the skill set.
With Feast though, the W does.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I know you mean it. It's not AOE. It's not like a Soul Stealer, for example.
He's compared to the other carry potential heroes. Yeah, definitely not really there. So, and he's not going to be getting like a Rune Cleaver or anything like that either. So, it's. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I liked what you were saying earlier about the chance to be aggressive and to really set up kill that made the Bloodhunter a good pickup. Bubbles top lane. Wow, Shield Slips away, going to be fine. But they're not using it, so you got to really fault Nullstone Gaming for this, specifically Beaverbanger here.
Exactly. I mean, like, he's playing as if he's like playing as a Gemini. Like, Gemini can easily just AFK farm because he has that late game presence. Yeah, he has some early engagement spells, obviously with his W and Q, but he's not as early game as say perhaps Bloodhunter, and yet he's playing it as if he's playing Gemini, and it's just not the way to go. Actually, middle lane though.
There we go. Initiation, multicast. The Pyromancer, they get the kill. Here comes the Fate Suck though, and now Kraken all of a sudden he needs to get away. He will charge away. Gonna be fine. So the double multicast comes down. It got that kind of the tail end, but sure enough to help nuke down Pyromancer right there. They'll release the Kraken used to keep him in place even as well. So Bloodhunter did port in, but he got there too late, unfortunately. So that's the first time we've seen a little bit of activity there from Beaverbanger. But yeah, getting there too late and back to the bottom lane he will go. So the execution of Willowkeeper doing a pretty good job, and I think that's why you're also going to definitely give credit, as usual, to Willowkeeper here. Making a point, they're not having anybody at this bottom lane. They're not giving him that easy target in the lane to use a hemorrhage on and go for a kill. So it's really forcing Beaverbanger to make that decision. Does he port elsewhere like he did right there at the risk of not getting anything and now losing out some farm, or does he just static farm? So back to the bottom lane he goes, and here comes more static farm. See him hit level 10 there in the process. Now he goes Firebrand here. Do you expect this to turn straight into a Geometer's Bane or maybe the Frostburn?
Normally, I think we're going to see a Frostburn or some kind of Dawnbringer, because the hero is quite squishy in nature. Like 940 HP, like can easily get bursted down, even from like a triple Demon Hand from Soulstealer does like 900 damage. So it's very, very squishy. I mean, Dawnbringer is like a good item actually on the hero. I mean, when we used to see Bloodhunter picked up, it was mainly the use of Nox, obviously the carry hero for Team Excellent back in the day. And whenever he used to play Bloodhunter, he always used to pick up the Dawnbringer. To be fair, he used to pick up Dawnbringer on every hero, but I mean, it was definitely an item that he picked up on Bloodhunter, and it's just an overall nice item to go for. I mean, the hero isn't like a super late hard game carry, as we talked about before, so he doesn't need to pick up maybe like the Rune Cleaver or any kind of farming items in that respect. Just something that can be involved in early engagements, and that's what the Dawnbringer allows him to do. So I think he will go Dawnbringer in this game break here.
Yeah. 13 minutes into the game right now. I mean, it seems that could be the possible option. What you got is trying to continue to be active here. He already does have those 3 assists, going for another one, but as he does, he's going to see the rotation over to the triple stack Ancients with that said. So he gets some good information right there. I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything about it, though. You see Soulstealer there again. That's what he does. The Demon Hands come out. All of a sudden, they're just about dead. And a couple more Demon Hands, or even if not one more. Yeah, there you go. And going to be finishing these off. So they can't really stop that. And now Soulstealer has another 2,300. Actually bought a Soul Scream ring. Choosing not to go the Energizer, though. Instead, he goes straight Nullstone here. He actually went Blessed Orb into the Sustainer. Kind of the other way around. But yeah, you like this build.
Because, I mean, we've talked about when Soulstealers go like the early Energizer or the early Portal Key like Pro Bosk, and it just doesn't work. Like, normally he picks up the Portal Key, for example, and then he goes back and starts farming anyway, and without the Nullstone, you really do have issues in terms of the farming mechanism, because you have no mana regeneration. And obviously, Soulstealer's just been AFK farming, as he should. I mean, he's got great farm, can obviously easily farm very, very quickly. And if he picks up the Energizer, yeah, it would help him in terms of early engagements, but there hasn't been any early engagements, so definitely the right build here. Another interesting build, actually, is with Blacksmith. He's actually maxed out the Flaming Hammer, and this is definitely the way to go. It has the highest amount of damage compared to Max in Fireball. I mean, Fireball, it doesn't scale very, very well into the game. Only increases the damage done while still increasing the mana cost.
To be fair, though, multicast, actually, the Q does more. So it's about rolling them dice.
Yeah, but I mean, the Flaming Hammer is just better, though. It increases, obviously, the damage, the increase of movement, or minus movement speed, but also the minus magic armor. So definitely the right skill build here coming out from Root of Sea, obviously. It's probably not the first game of Blacksmith he's played, so.
Top lane. Now, Madman, he bought a help with the Black Legion against Boxy. Did this yesterday as well, but in comes the Hemorrhage, but guess what? #1 counter to Bloodhunter right there. 8 TPs. And, oh, wait, what? Oh, he just decides to, what happened? Did he just stop it himself, realizing he was fine? I think he did. I think he just genuinely was like, and then he comes back in and kills Fuzzy. Oh God, that's gotta feel good for Boxy right there. I'm pretty sure he made the conscious decision, realizing that they weren't committing, to just be like, okay, I won't TP then. And he gets a kill. The bait is real. Boxy making the big plays. But yeah, he goes to helm the Black Legion. Like I said, he did this yesterday as well against Sync. He does do this from time to time. He likes this on the Suicide Hero in general.
I actually really like this item, but not only from the Helm Black Legion, but also the Blood Chalice as well. Whenever you play Madman, particularly Suicide Madman, again, similar to Soulstealer, you really do have issues in terms of mana regeneration. So one way in how to sort of combat that is through the Rune Cleaver or even the Nullstone himself. But he's not going to have that kind of farm. Obviously, he's playing Suicide. He's not playing the hard carry. So picking up the Helm of Black Legion is going to offer him that HP regen, and then to counteract that, he's got the Blood Chalice as well. So although he's losing HP, he's going to regain it back from the Helm Black Legion, and then obviously the mana regeneration. Middle lane breaking.
Yeah, mass TP middle lane. They get the kill Kraken, but it may come at a cost. It looks like very likely. Magma, Steam Bath, The Demon Hands do connect to someone. Oh, he gets away in time, though, with the stun. He avoids the Glacial Downpour, and he's going to Portal Key away. Now, he doesn't have mana as a result of that, but for the time being, he is still hidden right here. So unless they actually find him, it doesn't look like it.
He's got power supply charges, though, so he should be fine.
There you go. Yeah, he's going to be fine now. Supports back to base. So great escape coming out from Cholo Samion right there, and that was definitely needed. Obviously, he's got the point. That is big middle in the meantime. Here we go, Hemorrhage. The face-off comes out, and Blacksmith is definitely going to maybe fall? Yes, he will fall.
So tanky, man.
That's definitely another benefit of that guy.
1300 HP. Are you
yeah, his strength gain is pretty ridiculous.
Oh my god, man.
Compared to most heroes. So isn't it like up there with the top in the game, I believe?
Yeah, I think so.
As far as that's concerned. So, anyways,
3.2. Oh my god, 3.2 per level.
Yeah.
Oh my god, breaking.
That
is the highest.
It is the highest, yeah.
Yeah.
So he gets tanky with just leveling up. But yeah, he does die in the end, of course, that's a good thing. Good counterplay. And that's the first kill, finally, for Bloodhunter coming out, whether kills or an assist. I mean, again, he has been trying a little bit, to be fair, but it just happens that's the first one right there. But again, so now he's doing some doubles or triples against with the team, but this is a downside. He's
1-0-0 breaking. Like I said, if this was a Gemini, I'd be fine with it. If this was like an Oogie, I'd be fine with it. If he was a Gemini Oogie, he'd have like 400 or 500 GPM right now. But you talked about it before. Obviously, he isn't the greatest farmer. He's getting some triple stack engines done here, but only 410 GPM. And what's that really going to do? He's not going to be able to go toe to toe with a Soul Stealer versus Bloodhunter in terms of sort of carry presence. Like he doesn't have the greatest passive, and that's what really makes obviously like a carry hero compared to say like obviously the Dread and obviously the Soul Steal coming out from Soul Stealer. So yeah, I'm not feeling it honestly, Breaky.
Well, they're going to need that to work out for them, and obviously team play will definitely play a factor as well. Magmus Bubbles combination always very powerful in itself, and they already got the Portakey on Magmus, Portakey on Bubbles. He's working on it. In the meantime, though, their middle tower, that's going to be pushed in. They use vulnerability. I don't think they're going to really defend it, though. I mean, they got it. Maybe they are actually. Wild Hunter coming in, and here we go. Blood Hunter Hemorrhage is up. There's the initiation from Magmus. They get the tower kill, but a walkout steel face that comes out. Can they get the Starburst? I know again. Down goes Soul Stealer. But Parasite gets picked off in the process, so a 1-for-1 exchange so far as Magmus, he is fine. He's looking for another stun as Madman goes in. There's the line stun, though. Blacksmith gets caught. Can he maybe get a multicast here? He stays alive as tanky as he is, and he will be fine for the time being. But Bloodhunter, he has a blood sense active. It is level 4 right here, so Bloodhunter's actually getting it from Blacksmith. The silence comes out, but they can't get the stun on it, looks like. Yep. Dragonfire just a little bit too late right there, and as a result, he is going to be fine. Now, they will counter ward at least. Right there, but still a good getaway in the end from Willowkeeper.
A decent trade, honestly. Like obviously they lost the 2-1 tower, but they lost their Parasite, but they did take down the Soul Stealer, and he was farming out of this world breaking. Like he's just died now, yet he's still got 500 or above 500 GPM, and expect that to increase as well. And still, I mean, obviously Bloodhunter, not the greatest late game carry, but it's still into the mid game, and that Hemorrhage does do a lot breaking. Yeah. So obviously Soul Stealer just instantly drops in that respect. He is actually building obviously the Struggle Head, which is probably needed against Nullstone. Obviously, they've got the Parasite, the Parasite, Bubbles, Magmus, and Pyromancer, obviously doing a lot of magical damage. Obviously, the Hemorrhage is superior magic damage, so we'll still go through the Struggle Head if he can get it on Solstice in the case. Yep.
See right here, Bloodhunter going to not stacking necessarily, but just going to continue to farm here in the jungle. Yeah, you look at that Nullstone pickup for Solstice. I know you're a huge fan of it, but having a tool with that silencer, maybe not necessarily wanting to use it to remove the Nullstone, but I believe he's the one that actually removed the Nullstone right there. Because again, the range on it, especially 650 range, it's a good amount of range to be able to apply that to take off the Nullstone and then eventually go in. Maybe it was a leech that removed it as well, to be fair, but I mean, they got a couple tools to remove it basically.
I mean, he could pick up the Codex to remove the Nullstone shout to Slabs.
Oh, God.
I was talking to him on stream. We was having a good laugh about that. But yeah, I mean, it's not a bad item. But at the same time, like if you remove that, if you move the Nullstone with the Blood Crazy sort of debuff, and then at the same time, it's kind of like a 9-second silence. I'd probably prefer to sort of waste it or sort of remove the Nullstone with the leech. Honestly, like a 9-second silence. Obviously, it increases the 80%, or increases base damage by 80%, but still a 9-second silence breaking. For a hero that sort of relies on his spells, obviously the Demon Hands, it can be a big factor. But at the same time, obviously, it's kind of like a double-edged sword because it all increases damage. And I mean, he's picked up level 4 Dread already, hitting for about 180. Like, he's going to be hitting for like 240 if he does get Blood Crazy on him. So, yeah, one of those things, like if they are going to put the Blood Crazy on him, they've got to burst Soul City down instantly, because otherwise he will wreck them in team fights if he has that buff or debuff, depending on how you view it.
Yeah. Yeah, Soulstiller really is. He's becoming more of a later on in the season carry go-to hero, but it's for good reason. As you see right there, that stat, he's actually the highest win rate hero in Han Tour Season 3 right now. And when he's over that 525 GPM mark, he is actually 11-0 even. So it definitely usually ends up in the good results. I mean, if this was a game that was just determined solely by stats, then you would think Sync, or not Sync, but Tree is in a very good spot right now. Obviously on top of the Blood Hunter being 0-, and Parasite being not the best when he's under 300 gold per minute and whatnot. But, that's why you play the game ultimately. And definitely still good chances here, no doubt, for Nullson. I mean, again, this is completely 180 here from Game 1 to Game 2 for many reasons, of course. But the Wild Hunter controlled by Parasite right here is actually going and scouting it out and eventually falls back, realizing they're not going to get much out of that. He has a puzzle box on him, though, with that said. So double portal key between Magnus and Bubbles now as well. So definitely some powerful tools coming out. And Shrunken Head, we mentioned that on Soulstiller. It is actually also being worked on by Blood Hunter now. And it is getting close. I mean, 1,700 gold already with that Mighty Blade. So 2,900 gold mark, he will have that. And Shrunken Head, again, very powerful in most cases and no different here. So that's sure. So maybe he wasn't as active in the earlier game stages, but Beaverbang is present. He's 200 now and 423 gold per minute and kind of around that mark. So it's you got to be somewhat pleased at the same time with where he's at, but it's definitely debatable if he was maximizing that efficiency. Bottom, they need to be careful with this because this is obvious bait. Okay, there they are. As the Ward of Sight will spot the incoming support, and they're going to fall back to the tower. You could tell they wanted to initially, but as soon as that information kicked in, no thank you, they say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Nullstone Gaming should honestly try and take these team fights. Like, Tree are just too strong at this point. They've got obviously...
I do not get this. The triple, double multicast comes out, Mammoth, so the eruption going to be canceled right there. However, they will get the kill on a Kraken as the hemorrhage does the job. Soulstone in the background is going for Parasite. Can't do it, though. And now Madman in some trouble himself. He's going to be chased out. Silence comes out, so he cannot stalk away. Obviously, as a result, doing some more damage if he wants. He will be fine, though. In the long run, a little bit too tanky, and Magnus did ultimately survive right there. So I was going to say I didn't really get it, but
yeah, I was surprised that went so well, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, it might not be over, though. Magnus,
he's living life on the edge, man. He's trying to bait for his team right here. He has a stun. Will's going to use it. Why not? Yes, he stuns in. There's a Dragonfire. Here comes Blood Hunter now. No silence just yet. It will be applied, and no follow-up comes as a result. So,
oh, Blacksmith.
Never mind. Blacksmith, he's trying to catch up. Bubbles doing some good damage, but not enough for the kill either.
Ooh, is he going to drop?
Is he?
Is he
the dot damage? No.
Oh,
take cover.
Take
he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I was really surprised how that went so well, but I mean, they had the great burst though, straight onto Kraken and then onto Glacius, and I mean, Kraken is kind of the hero that they needs to be initiated on Nullstone because outside of obviously the Kraken ultimate, they don't really have the greatest lockdown. Obviously, Blacksmith is only single target, Madman doesn't have a stun, and Glacius only has the Ice Imprisonment, but it's not the biggest in terms of lockdown. They need this portal key on Kraken to make these team fights happen, and he just hasn't had the farm, honestly. But they're going in again, round 2 break.
Well, the numbers advantage right now in favor of Willowkeeper, actually. So again, you got to be a little careful if you're Nullstone. But it's not the last time it worked out for the Kraken. He has no clue that Pyromancer was spotting him all along. The burst damage comes out, and nothing he can do. There's a vote to pause on top of that.
So,
it's almost like trying to save him, but.
Yeah, Tree needs to back off straight away right now. I mean, like, just what happened in the first engagement, Kraken instantly got picked off. And this is the problem. When he doesn't have a portal key breaking, he has to reduce and sort of become vulnerable in terms of his positioning because he doesn't have that portal key to initiate. He has to be in front and sort of be in the thick of the team fight because without it, he's not going to get his spells off. And so, as a result, he has to sort of reduce and sort of be vulnerable in terms of positioning because otherwise he just simply won't get his spells off Breaky. So, in that respect, again, you're seeing this time and time again. He needs that portal key so badly. And he's only got 206 GPM Breaky. So, he's really had a bad start. And, yeah, Soulsteel is having great farm, but it's the Kraken that's going to be making the plays here in the mid-game Breaky.
Yeah.
So.
Kraken. Not going as good. But, again, that was just also a great fight by Nullstone. Great job by Pyromancer, really. Sitting on top of him the whole time with the invis and eventually helping to set up that kill right there. Now, this is all being seen. Obviously, we'll know with Kraken dead, but still there is a Ward of Sight here from Willowkeeper. But, yeah, expecting to fall back here. No point to go in and commit to anything further at this point. So, yeah, well, what seemed like a couple of cases for Nullstone actually pretty scary for them.
Yeah.
They actually come out on top big time. So, yeah, this game, again, I keep going back to this. The start, it really seemed like Tree was setting themselves up great. Nullstones wasn't as powerful, especially with their lineup and what it spoke for. But This is now looking like Nullstone actually has a really good shot here at this point.
Definitely.
So.
I mean, to be on paper, the team fight and the late game for Tree is definitely superior. Obviously, they got the Kraken, and just good AoE ultimates compared to, say, Nullstone. But, I mean, what if they're bursting down the Kraken before he can get anything off, and obviously he doesn't have the portal key, then I guess the team fights can go well for Nullstone. It just depends on the execution. And Tree, honestly, like, this is a little bit of a bad play, and I've got to call Kraken out of it. Like, there's 4 heroes in the bottom lane for Tree, obviously, and Kraken takes the most riskiest sort of route here to get to his teammates. You have to assume Nullstone Gaming have some kind of ward vision, and in this case they didn't. But yet, one hero was in the jungle. They were invisible, and they spotted him out, and an easy gank from Nullstone Gaming. So, yeah, just a little bit of bad coordination coming out from Tree is costing them a couple of these early team fights, and it's a little bit scary seeing as they did have the early lead. So. I mean, the one thing's for certain, though, they need to prioritise this portal key on Kraken, though, because otherwise this is going to happen time and time again. He's going to have to sacrifice his positioning to be involved and get his spells off. But with the portal key, he can stay back, wait for the perfect initiation, and get 2 or 3 into the Kraken ultimate. But until then, it's just not going to happen.
Now, what do you think of for something like a Madman here while we're still in this pause? He's got 2,700 gold saved up. Again, he went the helm, so, usually I'd maybe say the Shrunken Head, but because he was already somewhat tanky, sure, but something like a Brutalizer even could make sense to me, but...
Yeah, normally Brutalizer is just such a great item on Madman because it synergizes so well, obviously, with the Berserk. I mean, like, at level 16, 120 attack speed, and when you're hitting that fast, you're going to proc the Brutalizer even more and more. And you can honestly sort of, like, solo players just in terms of your right click because of the Brutalizer. And seeing as, obviously, they need some extra lockdown because Kraken isn't really having the biggest impact, the extra sort of stun for Brutalizer, I think, is the way to go, honestly, Breaker. He can pick up an Energizer, but it's a little bit late for that, and I don't think it's going to have the biggest impact in terms of going into the late game, whereas Brutalizer will. So I think the Brutalizer is a good call here. I mean, you talked about the Shrunken Head, but he can still pick one up simply because there's so much major damage coming out from Nullstone Gaming, honestly. But at the same time, then it's like, why has he picked up the Helm? Obviously, it does synergize quite well with the Bloodshot as well, giving him permanent regeneration, but... Yeah, I think Brutalizer will be the pickup here. He's saving 2,700 gold, so I think that might be the next item. Also, obviously, he's got the Blood Chalice and Helm. He can sell the bottle because he's going to have permanent regen because of those 2 items. So
yeah,
frees up space for the Brutalizer.
Oh, we'll see what Boxy does decide to go for here. Another 2,000 gold just about saved up on Soul Stealer courses. Again, he's got his very defensive build here with the Shrunken Head and the Null Stone, so now no doubt some more damage focus going to be coming up. But that also takes us to the Legion side. I mean, Bloodhunter, he just about has it here. Another couple of creep kills. He will be able to pick up that pattern, and thus the Shrunken Head finished on top of the Frostburn that he has. And that's, again, continues to be a very good start for him. He's also going to be getting a level 3 Hemorrhage here soon, and that's actually quite a bit of damage added as well on top of that ultimate. It does increase the mana cost, but, more damage, obviously, definitely worth it right there. So that'll be a good pickup for him. How much mana is, so we got 80 on that, and then 250 on that Hemorrhage, and then 80 on the Feast as well. So yeah, I mean, he's definitely fine as far as us, because I was looking at his mana pool might have been a little low, but no, not really.
I mean, honestly, I think the Hemorrhage should be going on Madman because you want to put it on heroes that are so reliant on their mobility. Sure. And Madman is obviously one of those heroes. Obviously, he relies so quickly or so much on the stalk, but at the same time, he's kind of tanky as well because he's picked up the Helm, so he can sort of sit there and right-click, obviously, if he picks up the Brutalizer, even more so. If he puts it on Soulstill, like, he'll want to just sit there and right-click because he's got great auto-attack damage, and also because he's ranged, so he won't... be sort of running to sort of right-click people because he's not melee in that respect. So yeah. He can sort of sit back and right-click people. So I think the Hemorrhage target will most likely be on Madman, but at the same time they might sort of want to use it instantly to burst someone down, which is also another factor you got to put into play.
Frenzy is going to start kicking into. He's starting to level that up now, of course. Understandably goes the QW first, the Fireball and the Flaming Hammer, but now the Frenzy is going to start happening. Only level 1 currently, but even at level 1, kind of a 1-point wonder to an extent as far as, applying some good buffs there. But, of course, you want to get that maxed out ASAP and then maximum efficiency there. So that's another thing to kind of keep in mind. Looks like Boxy has returned, so hopefully we're going to be good to go here and resume on. What is game number 2? Yes, if you are joining in late, game 1 did go in favor of Willakeeper. A very easy victory. I mean, a lot of factors came into, to be fair, too. Nullstone wasn't using their A-plus roster here with, Cholo Simon being back for game 2. And as we always talk about, it's understandable if it just doesn't, the synergy's not there. But now they got him back, and And things have definitely been a bit different, to say the least.
It's about damn
and
time.
here we go. So it's they got the pick up on the Kraken, and of course they are going to fall back from one another. I'm sure.
Yeah,
absolutely, as they do.
Yeah. I'm actually a little bit surprised Nostar did try and chase that. I mean, they did have the Portal Key and Bubbles, who has a Kelp Field. Obviously, they've got the Hemorrhage as well, but I guess maybe fearing the buyback from Kraken. Tier 2 tower is still up, I guess, but decide against it. I mean, Nostar are actually in a good position, obviously. Winning the last couple of team fights, which arguably shouldn't happen on paper, but they are doing so. But one thing's for certain, they still need to be, keep their foot on the gas brake, because they can't really give Tree sort of time to sort of sit back and farm, because I think they do have the late game. Obviously, they've got the Madman and Soul Stealer presence, and something that shouldn't be understated is obviously the Kraken team fight late game. This is quite scary as well. They've still got great heroes to sort of be involved in, particularly the Bloodhunter, and actually a Null Fireblade. Actually, something I was thinking Bloodhunter might pick up a Null Fire himself, but Madman probably makes even more sense, because obviously he can purge off the Blood Crazy, so that 9-second silence can be instantly purged off from the Null Fire, and it works quite well for Madman as well. Obviously, the higher attack speed, the more mana drain going to be coming out as well. So I really do like that item pickup.
Back-to-back days, we see a Null Fireblade, man. I'm telling you, inside him. Powerful item. But yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense against Blood, as you said right there. So good pickup definitely coming out from Boxing. No doubt that's a lot of reasoning to why choosing to go the No Fire Blade. Just to clear, again, I'm 99% sure, but it doesn't purge off.
No.
Of course, yeah, that would probably be a little ridiculous. That'd be like a level 1 counter to Blood Hunter or Demon. So, but yeah, again, the Blood Crazy enough is Blood Crazy, I guess, is good enough to be able to purge that off. So
that sort of name is terrible, by the way. They
Blood
need a new
Crazy?
name. Crazy. I don't know. It sounds awkward, man. I just don't like it. It just sounds
Blood
weird.
Crazy.
It's like, that's not a name of a spell though. Like Feast or Shelter makes sense. Blood Crazy. It's like, oh, he's got the Blood Crazy on him. It's like
it's better than more axes on more
guess that's true.
axes. So let's be honest there. Yay for being clever. Madman, that's an illusion, so never mind. Just kind of scouting things out here in the middle lane. Speaking of that, actually, speaking of illusions, kind of a cool thing with, as you see right here, Blood Hunter, if an illusion happens to get below the threshold of life to activate his Blood Sense, it actually works. So, in a sense, kind of a fun strategy you could do technically. You could actually get an illusion ready, you can spawn one and maybe have it take some damage, and then you can have some permanent haste speed as a result of it even. Which is kind of cool.
Strategy.
So, yeah, I'm not saying you're going to be looking to do that all the time by any means.
Look,
But
I mean, it's a decent, like, he moves at max movement speed break when it happens, so it's definitely something that shouldn't be underestimated. Like, sometimes you even see Cersei picks up just simply for that reason.
it's true.
Like, the Cersei Legionnaire combo as well, pretty OP. Cersei's OP, man.
That's right, with the spins that constantly happen. Yeah, that's another one of those tactics. Blood Hunter going to finish off these Ancients here. Again, he has struck an He's going for his next bigger item. We'll see if he finishes the full Dawnbringer, or perhaps even splits that up, or perhaps even just something else altogether here.
Cool key now on Kraken now. That's a massive item, honestly, for Tree. That's probably the only thing they were waiting for.
Yeah.
And actually, they're going to rotate into Congo, so yeah, that is the... Oh, no, they're not going to rotate into Congo.
Ancients here.
They lied.
Stack these, get them going.
They're all around the Congo pit, though, so it's kind of like they want to do it. And I mean, with the Portal Key on Kraken, they do have the items to take team fights now, though. That's the one thing they were lacking the last two.
Hunter's coming in now. They're split. They do not have... Who is that? That's Kraken.
Kraken.
Kraken is not with them, but no commitment from Null, so that could have been a big chance. But yeah, Kraken
They
was
don't
not
know
with
that,
them. Yeah, of course, yeah. So they don't got the God Vision.
It's going to be hard, honestly, sort of try and initiate uphill without vision as well. Very, very risky. So,
what do you think about Wingbow here for Blood Hunter? The more I'm looking at the scheme, it seems like that
decent,
could actually be a very good pickup here, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I think Soul Stealer might pick up a Savage Mace just because he can farm it quicker. But I mean, Madman most likely won't pick up a Savage Mace anytime soon. The one thing though is that he'll have to buy it like now, because if he doesn't buy it now, or at least sort of the evasion is that I think Soul Stealer is going to sort of pull up gold expecting the Wingbow in that respect. So if he doesn't use it or doesn't start buying it now, then it's going to have lesser effectiveness, because I think Soul Stealer is going to sort of pull up 5,000 gold. If he buys the Wingbow, it's going to be instant Savage Mace, obviously. Then it is counter.
Middle lane, oh my god, the reactions are real, man. You can tell Krake, he was ready. He was ready to be jumped right there, and sure enough, Portal Key's away as a result. So I think the War to Sight might have spotted. Yeah, Magma's channeling that up in the first place. So well played, and that's another eruption down. Yeah, Magnus has not had the best eruptions this game, man. I'm pretty sure he hasn't even landed. He's attempted like 4 or 5, and none have really done anything, to be fair. So Not to call out Chilisemion by any means, but it's just unfortunate that.
Oh, second time.
They're going to try it again, but again, okay, so the hemorrhage is up. There's Sun's blazing fly. They're going for the kill, and they get it. Well, there you go. That's what it takes.
I think TP rotation was a tiny bit, little bit too slow. And one thing to note, though, is obviously the charge, when he actually moves, obviously, he doesn't actually get impacted by the hemorrhage. Obviously, it's only when they move, and the Kraken charge doesn't actually technically count as moving. But yeah, I'm a little bit surprised he didn't actually try and run a little bit behind the Tier 1 tower, because then it would have forced Nullstone to either extend and then obviously Tree, get some counter, because obviously he's going to die, but then at the same time he's going to die either way. So I mean, I think if he ran behind the Tier 1 tower, they had the opportunity to actually maybe get some counter kills. And actually, Tree going for a boldy play. Actually,
ballsy play, man. This is really ballsy right here. Yeah, and that almost backfired big time, but they all do get away.
As well.
Yeah.
Blacksmith, you got low HP, man. Like, that's a little bit questionable, but at the same time, I don't think Nullstone can actually sort of capitalise on this. Though Hemorrhage is still down, so is Blazing Strike from Pyromancer, and Kraken is now back up, and they've still got a T1 tower mid, so that would be so risky.
That's a great point to bring up what you said about the Blood Sense. So, I was thinking just for the move speed, if anything, but that's true. It does. Obviously, we'll see invis if they happen to be lower on life. It'll also just let you know if somebody's low on life nearby on the minimap, and that's one of those tools that, of course, Bloodhunter has that. It's almost like a free ward in a sense, and so that's why it's extra risky to do Kongor against a Blood Hunter, especially.
Yeah, and it's honestly maybe a potential reason why obviously they picked up the Nullstone and the Helm of Black Legion on Madman, because like when you're farming the jungle, obviously it's more so in the early sort of stages of the game. If you're farming the jungle when you've got low HP, then obviously Blood Hunter's going to see you, but with the Nullstone and Helm of Black Legion, you're going to have that 85% HP regardless of how much you're farming, because obviously the regen.
Man, they're going for it again, but Bubbles sees all of this. Look at where he is. He's going to scout it out with the Shell Surf, and now they know he's there, of course, so a little bit of risky play on by him. He needs to get away now. They're going to open, actually. Press open the basic auto Kraken. Kraken comes out. Magnus up, beautiful. Down, and Bloodhunter's going to lock down Kraken, gets the kill, and that's a double tap for nothing in the end. Yeah, the split was real, and Nullstone takes advantage, and now here comes Kongor.
Terrible position coming from Tree. Absolutely terrible position coming from Tree. And as a result, they got punished. Actually, Blacksmith 3 times multicast. Oh my god.
The triple multicast roll. The dice works out. Hemorrhage on the Soul Stealer, though. He's in trouble. He's going to Soul Burst, but the Bloodhunter's Shrunken Head goes up, and he doesn't care about that. The auto attacks are too strong. He gets one kill. He's going to go for Blacksmith. He gets another. Glacius is also going to fall right here, and Willowkeeper. It ends up being ultimately a genocide for them, and that's all because they wanted to go for a Kongor. We knew it was risky. They had to know it was so risky. They didn't need to do that. I don't know why they try to force the issue so much.
They've got the late game as well. They did not need to make that kind of play. And again, 3 times break, these team fights have gone the way of Nullstone, not because obviously they've got the stronger team fight, but because the positioning and honestly the execution of these team fights from Tree has been absolutely abysmal. And it all goes back to the positioning. Like, they really need to have better coordination in terms of where their troops are sort of facing. Like, preferably you're in like a diamond position or sort of diamond formation. Obviously, your tank or your initiator at the front, obviously, then you've got like your supports on the side, and then normally you carry in the back. Instead, they have like half the members on the left side and then half, like 2,000 units on the right side. Instant initiation onto the left side of the group and bursted down before the right side of the group from Tree could do anything. Like, they really have to be better on the positioning there. I mean, they knew Bubbles was on the left side already, so they obviously, and also were spotting them out, and yet they just really were lacking on the positioning. As a result, they paid for it break. And now look at the Golden Experience lead. I mean, throughout the whole game, Tree were ahead, but not after that team fight break in.
Yeah, and I do love the item choice. We talked about it earlier. Wingbow coming out here for Bloodhunter, and especially that we see Soul Stealer going for a Wingbow himself. So knowing that he does not need to expect a Savage Mace at this point to be coming up in the near future. So that makes it even that much more powerful. Yeah. And there you go. He actually finished it in full right there. So
normally there's 2 ways how you counter like a Wingbow. Either obviously you pick up like a Savage to counter it, or you pick up a Wingbow yourself. Obviously the Wingbow is the more defensive route, but Savage is more the offensive. So instead of Soul Stealer going for a Savage Mace, he's going to pick up a Wingbow of himself. Arguably, I think he should have gone for a Savage Mace because there's not a lot of right-click damage. Obviously, you've got the Blood Hunter here. He's going to be dishing out some right-click damage, but it's mainly the magical damage, particularly the Hemorrhage. And obviously, he popped the Shrunken Head, but that didn't do anything to him, and he just got blown up regardless. And whereas obviously the Blood Hunter is a lot more useful in terms of the Wingbow. going to stop some right-click damage from Soul Stealer and Madman. But still a decent eye on Soul Stealer, and obviously both of them knowing that either is not going to go for a Savage Message. Bottom lane, though.
Yeah, bottom lane, this first tower is even still up, but Blacksmith, he's scouting it out. He's going to find Bubbles right here. Here we go, the Magnus does in, and now Blacksmith's going to be able to run to it. He goes down right away, and the TP's being attempted. Do they have any kind of stoppage? No, they do not. The tower does actually get destroyed also in favor of Tree right there, so a little bit of a positive in the end. But yeah, good hold by Nullstone ultimately. Now in the middle lane, actually Madman's pushing that in, knowing that they more than likely won't be TPing in right here as a result of defending bottom. However, they are going to rotate, and yeah, he has to get away.
Yeah, I mean,
before that's real.
That play wasn't too bad because obviously they did lose the Blacksmith, but he's only the secondary support and they took the tier 1 tower. The only issue is that now Nullstone Game are going to most likely take this tier 2 because they're not, Tree aren't going to fight 4v5, and actually Madman.
Alright, Boxy, is he actually going to die here? The tablet stops it, yes. And you know what, this is, I love saying it, it's Boxy being Boxy, damn it. He got way too greedy right there. Speaking of great, we talked about the Conquer kill earlier. That was an individual greed right there for Boxy, just trying to finish off the Legion Ancients, and Magnus and Bubbles happen to be roaming right next to him. So
one Ancient instead. So just great trades come out from Nullstone Gaming, and honestly, like obviously Nullstone Gaming have been playing great, but honestly, you have to call out Tree on a couple of these misplays. Honestly, in terms of team decisions or individual mistakes that you just sort of pointed out there from Boxy. And yeah, I mean, Tree, they had a great early game, they had a great strategy, but I mean, if you can't execute and play as you should in terms of, how to play as a team and how to play in the competitive hunt scene, then it doesn't matter what kind of, cute and sort of cheesy sort of strategies you're bringing out into the hunt scene break here.
Yeah. Bloodhunter, are we actually on the verge of possibly seeing Bloodhunter pick up his first win in Hot Tour Season 3? Oh my god. Yeah, Beaverbanger as a player, obviously very impressive stats, and he's up there as far as one of the top farmers on the scene. Actually, he's up there with Baltazar, sure enough. I think Baltazar currently holds the GPM lead so far in Han Tour Season 3, but it's and this game's kind of reflecting that too. I mean, both heroes actually happen to be over 500 gold per minute here, so as of course Bloodhunter taking it so far in this game, 533. That's showing here. What's that? Going to the top lane?
Yeah, I'm just kind of surprised. Well, they kill it really quickly though, so I guess it's not too bad. I was just like, they didn't have any kind of creep sort of support, and I thought if Tree did try and make an engagement, that could have been a little bit awkward. But
well, we saw right there too, Bloodhunter actually using the Blood Crazy on himself. And that's we're going to start seeing more and more of that as this game goes on. Yeah, it's like, oh darn, he's silenced, but he's hitting a lot harder.
Ulti.
Yeah.
As long as he pops his ultis first, then he'll be fine. He doesn't mind with that.
That's the idea. And for pushing in towers like that especially, so. That drops fast as expected. Another 3,700 gold on Bloodhunter, so he's actually getting close to picking up, you would think, more of just perhaps just raw damage here. Something like even a Rift Shards or a Savage Mace himself wouldn't be out of the question, I wouldn't think so. Maybe even something simple like a Brutalizer, actually. Wouldn't be a bad option, but that's more of a cheaper option, I guess.
I mean, it's decent. I think it's more decent in the mid game because obviously in the mid game you're most likely going to be starting to gank, and obviously when he starts ganking, then everyone else in the enemy team is going to pick up the teleport scrolls, and obviously then they're going to TP straight out when he hemorrhages. But if he's got the brutalizer, then he can sort of stun them mid TP. Actually, bottom lane,
I love that play by Root MC. That was well played. Yeah, he goes and he actually got the double multicast, and that's what guaranteed the kill. If it wasn't for the multicast, probably would have survived, but. That's the RNG for you. That's rolling the dice for you. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It seems like when anyone else plays it, it works, but except when I play it, I never get any multicast. So.
It's because you don't have enough skill when you play.
Says any Blacksmith player ever.
It's all about a skill break to get the multicast. You have to be really pro, and then you get high multicast.
Of course. Yeah, the higher MMR you are, the more multicast you get, I guess.
Exactly.
Well, then I should be getting like 500 multicasts a game easily.
0.
Number 1 on the ladder there. I'm Aurora. Did you know? Wingpo just finished by Soul Stealer, so yeah, even more reason to get that Savage Mace for Bloodhunter. Possibly, if that's what he wants to get again. Saving up the gold.
Sheepstick on Bubbles, another good counter against Wingbo as well. Obviously, the evasion doesn't work in Sheepstick, so decent item pick up from Bubbles. And it's quite decent though, because I mean, outside of Magnus, they don't have the greatest lockdown. Obviously, Pyromart's stun is a little bit unreliable, because obviously the lowest. But also, I mean, Sheepstick is decent against stronger heads as well. Obviously, we talked about in the last series I think we casted yesterday, when obviously I think 4 out of the 5 heroes when they were playing against Nullstone had like Shrunken Heads to sort of counteract the Oogie. Yeah, they had the sheep sticks and sort of it counted out the Shrunken Heads because they were bursting them down before they could even pop them. So yeah, great pickup from Bubbles. Might even see a Storm Spirit as well, perhaps after the sheep stick pickup.
You can tell Trees they're not looking for kills right now. They're playing this pretty safe right here because they know that they're behind quite a bit and be a risky place on their part, and they know Nullstone's also pretty quick to react. It seems like the way this game's been playing out. So the lead actually continues to grow even as this game progresses in favor of Nullstone. Now all the way up to 12.5k gold lead, as well as a 15,000 experience lead. And of course, on top of that, leading the way is that Blood Hunter, continuing to do so. Now for the 550 gold per minute, and there you go. He right-clicks the Savage Mace. Now, a little bit risky, you could say. I mean, he doesn't have a buyback currently, but...
But, I mean, at this point in the game, they have great map control. So even if, say, perhaps Blood Hunter dies, they've got to push out all the waves except perhaps top. And so that's going to take 30, 40 seconds, and by that time they should be able to defend Rex. I mean, all the top as well. The only way they could potentially go through is top, but even that is slowly getting pushed out by the tower, so... It's not the biggest of riskiness, but like you're saying, though, obviously the golden experience lead has increased, and that's because obviously this map control. Obviously they had token, it is destroyed now, or sort of taken back from Congo. So, but even though, I mean, when you're so far behind, it's almost like a reverse snowball effect because you can't take team fights, and if you can't take team fights, then you're eventually going to start losing map control because the enemy team's going to play a lot more aggressive because they know they have that advantage over you. But Nullstone, obviously they have great ganking potential as well, so it's another thing that Tree have to be wary about. Soul Silver here in the top lane, like he doesn't know where they are. They just been spotted by this good wall of sight actually placed by Confusing. So he does push up a little bit more, knows he's got a little bit more time on the board before he backs off.
And then he backs up pretty much right away. So yeah, he's kind of going back and forth. He's really feeling it out. He wants to get some farm where he can. Understand that he's not really having many options here. But now he's
Cardmancer is not the person to come rotate over though.
Yeah, that could be an
you
instant
can't really
kill.
Catch him. Not even that though, like, if he catches Soul Stealer there, like, he can't control him because, the Dragonfire stun just sucks. Like, the playmaker here has to be Bubbles. He has to be the one rotating for kills because he's got that sheep stick and obviously the Song of the She and or the Song of the Sea and the Kelpfields, so.
Yeah. Well, no kill successful, but they do force Soul Stealer to port all the way back to base. And he'll try to pick up farm elsewhere. Look at Blacksmith once again, every now and then kind of looking back at what Rudicy is doing. He's got a portal key here. He actually has another 2,200 gold saved up. But
please, oh god, stop.
I mean,
please.
No. There's no way he's got. Like,
it's decent, man.
It's decent, but is it better than a sheepstick or Hellfire or anything?
Oh,
Triple multi
God.
going on, and here we go. Blood Hunter gets melted right there. Speaking of burst, Tree showing off their burst potential, and this is what I talked about. I mean, he bought that Savage Mace. He does not have a buyback currently, so we'll see how Tree's going to be able to capitalize if they can. He picks up the haste and he's going for the run. Is that actually going to happen? No, it's just not enough. He misclicked initially. If he clicked it up initially, then maybe, but... well, now, again, can they capitalize?
Oh,
that's the question.
They've got 50 seconds, and the lane has been pushed out a lot more than what we talked about before, and they're going to easily take this to tower, and they might even be able to get wrecked, so Blood Hunter is still down for 45 seconds, and they cleared the creep wave so quickly because of the Demon Hand, so even if the lanes are very, very pushed in, it doesn't matter too much for Tree. You see, actually, Bubbles is trying to counter push. One TP is going to come in, and I don't know, I think Tree can still go on, but they're going to back off. I guess they don't. Maybe they expect the buyback from Blood Hunter, but he did just pick up the Savage Mace, so they have to expect
they want to do
that
Kongor.
They don't have it.
They want to do Kongor. They know he just resurrected.
Safe play. Safe play. Safe play. You don't know, obviously, the enemy team has buybacks, and obviously you've still got two of them dead. So yeah, it's a good play coming out from Tree. The safe play to make, and probably the right play in terms of they've been going aggressive the last couple of sort of team strats, or team sort of plays. So playing the defensive one is probably the way to get back into the game, and man, did they take the pick. So
I mean, yeah, Blood Hunter, like, that Soul Burst just melted Blood Hunter. I'm pretty sure that was the majority of that damage, as he was right on top, and I'm pretty sure the Flaming Hammer was also on him at that point. So, yeah, we saw if they get the catch, obviously, as farmed as Blood Hunter is this game, he most certainly will drop very, very, very quickly. No Shrunken Head use means an insta-death, as I saw in that case. So, definitely a couple of factors coming into play to make that happen. Not only do they just got the great initiation, but he was really kind of alone at that time too. So maybe a little bit of a overstepping the boundaries from Beaverbanger, kind of feeling it out throughout this game. But now he's going to make a point, or the team as a whole make a point, to at least keep one, if not multiple heroes nearby to be able to react if need be. So you see right here, that's exactly what they're doing. Bubbles and Pyromancer kind of hanging out
Token
now.
on Madman, though, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, they give the Madman.
I think there's a couple of reasons. Firstly, obviously, they got Soul Stealer, Nullstone, and Strungen, and the Portal Key, so quite a lot of ways in terms of defensive capabilities and escape mechanism. But at the same time, I mean, Soul Stealer doesn't really have any sort of slots to really take the token. Like, if he does, then he's got to have to sell the TP, and in that case, then he can really only stay on his side of the map, because if they do get caught out in terms of Nullstone do some kind of crazy backdoor strategy, then they could be in trouble, honestly, because of the split push from Nullstone.
Yeah.
And then he's not really going to sell the portal key, so yeah, it's just, and also he can't split push himself if he doesn't have a TP, which he's doing. No, he's not doing this. The rest of his team are doing sort of some kind of split push in the bottom lane, but yeah, probably the right play to make. And obviously, Madman is kind of squishy as well. If they do get a hemorrhage on him, it's pretty nice to have a token of life on him. So.
Taking out the Legion jungle here, getting farm where they can once again. Yeah, the Storm Spirit on Blacksmith. Talk about good items against here like Bloodhunter especially. That's definitely up there on that list, along with the Homecoming Stone. So it's good to see that there for the team. And honestly, just a great item too on Blacksmith. You know, increases that movement speed, gets that mana regen. That's definitely necessary for the hero, and allows him to even be extra more active in that sense. So
perfect with the portal key as well, because
True.
of like the counter initiation potential. Like if he doesn't have a portal key, their Storm Spirit isn't that great because he doesn't have the burst save potential. But man, I was really looking forward to the staff, man. I want to see the staff.
I mean, the fact that he needs to sit there right-clicking somebody, that's not going to happen. So
I know.
Again, I love the idea of the staff, and it's fun
Finally.
at TMM and stuff, but to actually see it competitively viable.
Maybe if we have a carry blacksmith, we might see the staff.
Yeah, Carry Blacksmith, different story, sure. But you know, with that said, I was actually looking at his boots when he picked it up earlier. Never really mentioned, but he did get the Steam boots, and sure, I mean, for the stats alone, it's good. You know, Ghost Marchers, especially in the role he was playing, could have been better.
I guess.
But
like Stride isn't only there in terms of if you're too pole to get any other boots, or there in terms of roaming. And as I stated before, like roaming in HON, particularly in competitive HON, is just kind of non-existent because obviously teams are a lot more coordinated. They have obviously wards up, and you can spot early rotations all the time. Because of no dust, as we talked about before. So, and Steamers are just great on him, honestly. Like he's already tanky already, so having even more tankiness obviously helps him with sort of mana issues he might have. Obviously, if he steam boot swaps correctly. Yeah. I mean, before the Storm Spirit, like he had the Portal Key, and I mean, like, obviously Portal Key costing mana as well. Like has a lot of mana issues as well. So, probably the right boots, honestly.
True. You can tell Millstone's really looking for a pick, and they might have found one right here. There's a Sheep Tick on a Kraken, right away Kraken. He gets the Storm Spirit. That's why they picked it up. They're struggling. Has now Soul Stealer. Oh my God, Parasite Melter right there. He actually did fall on the auto attack. Bloodhunter, he couldn't get away right there. The release of Kraken pulling him in, and a double tap coming out for Baltazar. Bloodhunter not really able to auto-attack after that initiation happened. Sure, they got the Kona Kraken, but obviously working well in favor of Willow. Keep it curly, and it's going to continue. The Gortok comes out, and there's blood everywhere. Pyromancer gets picked off. A 3-for-1 exchange now. Now, he does have a buyback on Bloodhunter. Parasite or Pyromancer do not. Neither one of those do. So
Bloodhunter has to buy back though.
Yeah, I mean, they got Eruption still.
Racks, if not two. They're going to lose Racks or two if they're not careful here. If they don't buy back.
There we go. There's the Eruption. Bloodhunter, he's porting it. Will this be in time? There's a question. The Struggonets are up. Madman is the silent supply. No, it's not. He has that no fire play. There's the freeze on a Bloodhunter. He's locked in place. Madman actually goes back in. He has a token still. Anyway, Soul Stealer getting picked off though. Soul Stealer goes down. Magnus able to pick him off by himself. I guess the hemorrhage maybe. What? No, that was no hemorrhage.
No, breastplate.
That was just Magnus right-clicking with the breastplate. Now they get the token of life to be used. There's the silence. Now he has a no fire blade coming up though. Will he purge himself? He's actually liking the silence. He wants that auto attack. However, the Sheep Stick now comes out, and maybe he's regretting all of a sudden. He put in the auto attacks in once again, but the lockdown's real. Bloodhunter goes down. Or excuse me, Blacksmith goes down as well as Madman. Bloodhunter stays alive, gets the double tap, and actually the buyback very well worth it. I'm still just shocked that Magnus was able to deal with Soul Stealer on his own.
He's just right-clicking him to death. Like he has the breastplate. He's got like a lot of farm, 411 farm, just taking down Soul Stealer. He didn't get any miss or any evasion procs either, so a little bit unlucky in that respect. But yeah, he just took it to Soul Stealer, man. But yeah, I mean, going back to the initiation from Nullstone, like it was a little bit of honestly counter synergy. Like they popped the hemorrhage on Kraken, which was fine, but then they instantly went and put the sheep stick on him as well. So reduced his movement speed, and then like he couldn't run at all in the first place because obviously he's slowed by the sheep stick. I mean, it didn't matter too much obviously because they portal keyed and gave him the storm spirit. But yeah, I mean, the team fight from Tree is starting to come back online though. Obviously, the last couple of team fights were weakened, but now obviously now they've got the Shrunken Head and portal key on Kraken. The team fight and the late game now is really kicking in for Tree. So Nelson, they're a little bit on a timer.
Yeah, so they're on a timer, but this is also risky, man. I mean, all ultimates are ready to go at the Glacial Downpour. You're not worried about that. Now, Mammoth's up in 30 seconds. He has his final buyback. But he was trying to wait it out. Multicats on, and Bubbles right there. No buyback just there. Release Kraken trying to lock down Bubbles more. The Sheepstick on a Black Sits as well as Glacius. Solstice there. It's a right click battle. Plunder gets one kill. He heals back up. He's going right click with Solstice right here. In the meantime, Magnus in the background. He's dropping low. But Plunder will he win? He needs a kill. He gets the kill. He heals up at the last second. Solstice can buy back. No. Solstice cannot buy back. Plunder, he needs more kills to happen to stay alive right here. Mammoth sitting on top of him. Can he kill anything? Maybe the Blacksmith. He cannot. And Mammoth will finish off Bloodhunter in the end. Magnus does buy back. Or no, he actually ported back, so he's just back at base currently, as Pyromancer's on the run now.
Oh, he really needed that Kraken kill, actually. Oh, Pyromancer, you're so dead.
Maybe? No, he's apparently hidden. He's going to be fine.
Man, that's my #1 juke spot.
That's a crazy juke spot. Okay, there we go. And now he's found all of a sudden, and that should be dead. I mean, he hits the Dragon Power. Magnus is running over. Can he get there in time? Probably not. Maybe. Oh! Magnus almost got there in time. But, yeah, he's going to need to get away. Anyways, the hold is real, so he did not have a buyback. Solstice did not have a buyback, but ended up not needing it in the end, so that's probably for the better there.
Oh, man. If that Bloodhunter got the last hit on Kraken as well, I think he would have been fine. But like he got the right click on Solstice, popped his health back to almost a full, but then he started dropping from Man-Man. If he got the right click on Kraken, I think that could have turned it. But yeah, it's the Bloodhunter is definitely important that he gets his last hits because otherwise he's got really nothing to sort of sustain him in terms of getting his health back. But yeah, the team fight and the carry presence now from Tree, particularly the Madman, is coming into effect. Like the Madman was like going toe to toe with the Bloodhunter, so. Yeah, it's just almost feels like they've almost missed their timing a little bit. They still have a great team character from Nelson, but it's nothing in comparison to Tree at the moment.
Yeah, you can tell, yeah.
Yeah, like the only time when they start coming ahead is when they get like a good gank off or they get the initiation, which in that team fight they just didn't really have the greatest initiation or sort of pick up in that respect. But yeah, they're still up though by 1,000 gold. Sorry, 11,000 gold, which is nothing to be understated. I mean, if this game was even, then Tree would be a lot more ahead in that respect. So it's good that Nelson are so far ahead because they need to be, honestly, because they don't have the best late game or the best team fight. So,
yeah. Don't let that fool you, though, because exactly, it's just because they have a solo leader as far as those stats are concerned does not mean they're in a good spot to ultimately win this game. Because I definitely 100% agree with you, and as we've been seeing. Yeah, one more lost fight, could mean racks in favor of Tree, and that could just really snowball from there, if anything. So now Bloodhunter picks up an Assassin Shroud, by the way, as to kind of follow up here, and eventual Genjiro, of course. I mean,
it's decent, I guess, but I mean, like. The biggest thing why you pick up Genjiro on sort of late game carries is obviously because of the agility factor, but also because of the mobility. But if you've got like a blood sense in a team fight, which you're always going to get because everyone's going to be low, then you don't need the mobility because you're running at maximum speed anyway. So that's the one issue I've got with it. However, still a great item in terms for an agility carry, as I stated before. But at the same factor, it's like that could have been perhaps another better item, perhaps even the Rift Shards, because he's lacking a bit of damage. Like I know it's funny because he's got 400 damage per hit, but he is lacking a little bit of damage, particularly when obviously the Solstice picks that pops the Shrunken Head. If he goes Rift Shards, it's a little bit more risky, but at the same time, he's the only one dealing physical damage, and I think Genjiro is a little bit of a cop-out, honestly, Broku.
Yeah. I think that's fair as far as his base damage is definitely up there as you pointed out, but compared to other carries, he doesn't necessarily have the steroid that maybe the other melee carries do. Something like a Dark Lady with those dark blades. I mean, I guess he could technically, as we've seen, blood crazy himself, and that almost is a steroid in a sense. But yeah, I guess it's kind of.
I think Rift Shots, because like Genjiro, like I said before, you pick up for the increased mobility, but if he's moving at max movement speed, he doesn't need the extra mobility. He needs the extra damage, and like an 800 damage crit, which could happen, like could honestly be the difference between like winning and losing the team fight. Because obviously, like having like DPS compared to sort of burst, like burst is always preferable because obviously it's gonna instantly kill him in that respect, whereas DPS can do it over time. So having that Rift Shards burst with a crit could honestly could be the difference between winning and losing the team fight. And I mean, what's the Genjiro really going to do? Like, most likely Tree are going to have some kind of detection, and if they're not, then that's a
Well,
bad play.
they got the bound eye and Glacius already.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Like, so,
yeah.
like he's going to be moving the mag movement speed. The only thing that's going to be benefiting is obviously the invisibility. But if they've got a bound eye, then yeah, it's not going to do much. Obviously, it's not really going to help him too much in terms of ganking either. So,
Yeah.
I think Rift Shards would have been the more efficient pickup, but still a decent item. It's obviously going to help him in terms of team fight as well. So.
Middle lane, you know something's coming. Frenzy's applied from Blacksmith, actually gets a quad multicast right there, so multiple Frenzies coming out for 4 to the 5 heroes. Actually, Mammon also even getting the reach right there, so everybody has a Frenzy buff now, it looks like, or somewhat. You can tell by the glowing red hands. Abyssal Skull just picked up by Blacksmith recently, so obviously very good there for this team. Behemoth's hard on Magnus, man. He is just tanking up like crazy.
Not worth. Not worth. Like, he's not getting targeted anyway. Like, he should have gone either a sheep stick or even try to rotate onto a hard carry himself. Because, like, if he picks, like, all he's doing in these team fights really is, like, the eruption and a couple of lava surge stuns. With picking up the behemoth side, it's like, yeah, they're not going to target Magnus either way. Like, he's not a big threat. Like, if he picks up a rift shards or picks up a sheep stick, then he is going to be kind of a threat. Like, this behemoth side doesn't do too much in my respect. Like, it gives him, like, 800 HP more, but it's like, it's not going to be a big difference in team fights. He needs to be a threat to the enemy team, and with Behemoth's Heart, he's just not. Like, maybe on a Blood Hunter, the Behemoth's Heart might be even a better pickup because obviously he's more of a threat, and they're going to try and burst down Blood Hunter, but Magnus, like, they don't even care. They're not going to focus him in team fights because as long as he's popped the Eruption, there's no big threat for Tree, so I really don't like that pickup, honestly.
Speaking of Abyssal Skull, too, I mean, I just saw, you know, a Shrunken Head purchased by Bubbles, which is good, but I think they could use their own Abyssal Skull, man. I mean, they got a lot of physical damage here.
That's not, like, 3,900 on a... You pick up the Shrunken Head to increase your damage in team fights and not to burst down die. So, like, you pick up the... I know it sounds strange, but the Shrunken Head is there sort of to keep you away from lockdown so you can get those right clicks in. And Bubbles isn't one of those heroes, but actually, they're looking for an engagement, actually. They've got a ward up here on the Ancients.
Yeah, we've been at that state now for the last couple of minutes. I mean, both teams are very close to one another, and they're dancing around the Congo up here. We're seeing the Congo dance here by either side.
Like, going back to the Bubble Shrunken Head, like 3,900 gold on an item that helps you right-click more. It's like, you're not going to be a right-clicker either way. Or at least go right, you know, even go Rift Shards yourself. Like, I don't know, man. A few of these item pickups, Nelson's a bit questionable.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you're so in trouble.
Man, he's going to be jump. Is the burst real enough? It looks like a Nelson's when it comes out. There's a soul burst in the background. Pulling our toe. Can he get the heal? Can he get the heal? Yes, he does. He gets the heal. He got the kill. He's dropping the once again. He gets another heal. Are you kidding me? The kills are real. And the heals are real. Kraken in trouble. He's going to end up falling. And it's all a matter of him getting those last hits right there. Oh my gosh, being in the vicinity, the heals are real, and now they're going for the racks. Soul Stealer does have buyback, as well as Kraken. Yeah, the feasts are real, the heals are real. He got only the one kill, but that was enough. They're not. Shocked that they're not.
They're going to buy back now. They're right next
to the
base.
Yeah, they have to, because they're going all in right here. Why are they not buying back? Here they go. Yeah, Soul Stealer goes right here. And this could possibly be it right here. Magma stuns in. A beautiful stun. Kraken's going to be locked down. Kraken goes down. Now Magma's, but he's that tank as we just talked about. Soul Stealer, he's trying to nuke him down, but he needs to go for Blood Hunter, if anything. As Blacksmith is, no multicast though coming out. And Blacksmith's now trying to fall back. That might come into Cosmos. Magma stuns in. The towers, the tier 4 towers are dead, however. Blacksmith now, he is in a lot of trouble. He gets the Star Sprayed off, but as soon as he falls down, there we go. The heal for Blood Hunter. And now he's at the top. No, they're going to go back mid. They know it's still exposed, obviously, or Sack Shrine. And they're going all in. Not much they can do. It's Soul Stealer and Glacius. Look at Glacius, the 2-hit. Blood Hunter takes him out. It's just a Soul Stealer. There's a Sheepstick, and that should do it. GG, well played. Nullstone Gaming going to take game number 2. Madman's like, I got this, don't worry. No, you don't. Look at the kite. The kite is real. GG. What a finish. What a freaking finish. Game 2. We're going to a game 3 as a result of that.
Man. Oh, my days. Those 2 last hits was honestly the difference why they won that team fight. Right. If he does not get those last hits on both of those heroes, he would have instantly bursted down. The team fight turns around, and that's probably a game there just for Tree themselves. But, oh, man, that team fight, man, was so